Once upon a time, in a quiet little village nestled between rolling hills, there lived an old woman known for her wisdom and kindness. No matter what life threw at her, she was always smiling, always content. The villagers admired her deeply and often sought her advice whenever they faced troubles. One day, a young man from the village, weighed down by worries, decided to ask her a question that had been bothering him for a long time. "Grandmother," he said, "I see you always happy no matter what happens. You never seem sad or troubled. How do you do it? Don't bad things ever make you upset?" The old woman smiled warmly, her eyes filled with kindness. "My dear," she said, "life is like the changing seasons. Sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy. I have learned that true happiness doesn't depend on what happens around me, but comes from within." The young man furrowed his brow, still not quite understanding. "But how can you be happy even when bad things happen?" he asked. The old woman took a deep breath and began to share a story from her past. "When I was young, I had a loving husband and beautiful children. We were wealthy, but we had enough, and we were happy. Then one day, my husband fell gravely ill. We had no money for medicine, and despite all my efforts, he passed away. It was the darkest moment of my life. I wept for days, feeling as if my happiness had died with him." The young man listened intently, his heart heavy with sympathy. "But time went on," the old woman continued. "One day, as I sat watching my children play, I realized something. No amount of sadness could bring my husband back. My children needed me. I needed to find a way to keep living, not just surviving, but truly living. That's when I understood that happiness isn't something that happens to us. It is something we create." The young man leaned forward, eager to hear more. "But how did you do it?" he asked. The old woman chuckled softly. "Every morning I make a choice. I wake up and say to myself, today is a new day. I will find something to be grateful for. Some days it is easy. A warm cup of tea, a kind word from a friend, the sun rising over the hills. Other days it is harder. But even then, I remind myself there is always something good, no matter how small." The young man nodded thoughtfully. "But what about when something truly terrible happens? How can anyone be happy in those moments?" "It is not easy," the old woman admitted. "But I remind myself that nothing lasts forever. Not joy, not sorrow. When bad times come, I tell myself this too shall pass. I focus on what I still have: my health, my friends, the simple gift of being alive. Happiness is a choice, my dear. You can choose to dwell on the bad and let it steal your joy, or you can choose to seek out the good, no matter how small." The young man sat in silence, absorbing her words. Then, with a newfound determination, he smiled and thanked her. From that day forward, he tried to live by her wisdom. At first, it wasn't easy, but slowly, he began to notice the little joys in everyday life. Even when things went wrong, he refused to let negativity take over. He learned to find happiness in the smallest moments, and with time, he became a source of inspiration for others. Word of the wise old woman's philosophy spread throughout the village. More and more people embraced that idea that happiness wasn't about wealth, success, or a perfect life. It was about perspective. They realized that happiness wasn't found in external circumstances, but in the way they chose to see the world. And so, thanks to the wisdom of one kind old woman, the entire village became a happier place. Happiness is a choice. Life will always have its ups and downs, but when we learn to focus on the good, we find strength, peace, and contentment. No matter how difficult life gets, joy can always be found in the little things if we choose to look for it.